Guys, thanks for joining me. Let's talk about tapping. We do a lot of tap repair on the farm, whether it's a wheel hub that the lug bolts have stripped the threads, or we need to make a bracket and make some threads in there or whatever. But we do a lot of tapping around the farm, just in general repairs. Exhaust bolts break off of engines, and just transmission cases, bolts break off, and you need to drill the old bolt out and either make new threads or whatever. So we do a lot of tapping. I am not a machinist. I am a farmer that owns some machining equipment. My brother is a professional, so I get advice from him to get me pointed in the right direction, and then I take what he's told me and kind of Google search that or Bing search that as much as I can to learn as much as I can about that. So I asked him the other day for a good tap set, and he said they don't make a good tap set. You buy taps as you need them. Then you buy a pilot bit or the tap bit, the proper drill bit for that tap, and you keep it with that tap. You don't hand resharpen that drill bit, because if you hand sharpen a drill bit, maybe you got it off center, now it's overbore. You don't want a dull drill bit that's going to wander and create an oversized hole. You want to use the drill press as much as possible to make the truest hole you can, and you want a quality drill bit. So he had said buy a machinist quality drill bit. So I looked that up. A machinist quality drill bits, they run an accuracy of 4 thousandths or tighter, depending on how quality you want to buy. You go to a hardware store and they're a 5/16 bit. So if you drill that hole, you drill that hole, and then you're going to cut the threads through with your tap. If that hole's oversized, your bolt is the same diameter. You don't have much thread engagement there. If your hole is the proper size, then you'd have better there. And there's a million style of taps out there. I got looking into it. I bought a couple. We're going to do a quick demonstration because I found it quite entertaining as to how nice a quality tap cuts versus a couple brand new China taps or even a high quality hardware store tap. And let's just look at them now. So for hand tapping around the farm, there's a lot of taps that are designed for machinists or machines tapping machines. You're not going to get them spiral taps for hand tapping. They're not designed for that kind of load. So here is the machinist quality tap. It is a 3 flute, has a little bit of a helical up front for a nice leading cut edge, and it's a heavy shank. That is just a general purpose machinist quality cut, and you can feel the nicer finish or nicer grain of stainless or a high-speed steel up here. Here's a Harbor Freight kind of tap. These are all 3/8 coarse thread taps. Here's a Harbor Freight kind of China tap. You can see the difference in the shank size. He is a standard 4 flute, no cutting edge up front, just your standard 4 flute straight down. This is a brand new, still got the price tag on it. This is from our local Ace dealer. It is an Irwin. This is the best quality tap I could find around town locally. It's got the heavy shank, just like our machinist quality. They look almost identical, except this one's still a 4 flute, no leading cutting edge. And then we have the roll form tap. It don't even look like a real tap. It is a chipless tap. It produces no chips. The pilot bit for this is actually bigger than a regular tap. So the other taps would use like a 5/16. This one's a little bit bigger. And what the roll form tap does, it does not cut. It actually takes the aluminum from the sidewall of the hole and it forms it into the threads itself. And what that does is it creates a lot stronger thread because the grain of the metal is formed in the direction of the threads. We just didn't remove, the regular cutting taps, they make chips, they remove metal. Here we're altering and we're forming the metal. It puts the grain with the threads, and they can run a lot tighter tolerance. We can create a lot tighter thread. So if our hand tap is there, this tap can get that extra 5%. It can create a bolt that can hold more torque. You can actually torque the bolt tighter without worried about stripping, or if you're you know, like a 3/8 bolt gets torqued to 35 pounds. It actually takes more energy to tear them threads out to strip that out using the roll form. But they aren't the greatest hand forming tap. I guess they aren't bad. They're no harder to turn than the hardware store ones. The big downfall is they're not made for everything. You can't use it on cast and some of them other grainy type materials that don't form very well. So that's their downfall. But they can run at a machine shop. You can run higher speeds and higher production rates with them. But for on the farm, they're an okay tap. They're just not a general purpose tap. So for us, it'd just be money sitting on the shelf. And it's a couple dollars more for this one than the regular cutting taps. And so we'll run this one through just so we can see what it looks like as a non-chip thing. And so let's get set up to do some tapping. All right. First one we're going to do is the cheap Harbor Freight tap. We put it in and we'll reef down as hard as we can on the old chuckaroo here. We'll dab a little oil. First gear, so we'll try a hole here and see how good we can do. She barely missed. Okay, that's getting very unproductive very quickly. That was a cheap China one with the reduced shank. Then we'll go to the hardware store tap. I reach down on him as much as we can, and put a little tapping oil on there. I will go in the exact same hole I started with the other one. So he did. Yeah, I can spin that right on out. And granted, you'd never really be tapping with a cordless drill anyhow, since the chucks have zero clamping power for these high-speed steel shanks. There's nothing for the jaws to bite on too. And here is a machine shop quality. I will start a new hole. And we are through that quick. I think that is. You know, $7. Yeah, just over $7, $6, and this other one was $2 or $3. So for $1 more, if it takes that much less torque to run through, what are the odds of breaking this tap shank versus this one out in the field or whatever, you know? So that's kind of important to me. Now we'll make a one out of the roll form. I went and got the handle for it. It doesn't take, it's stiff, but since it produces no chips, I don't have to back out and start over again. It's just like turning a sticky bolt through there. Might have to, yeah. There we go. He is through. And there you can see no chips out the back side. It just formed the threads. We'll knock him out of there. And bolt comes out, nice clean on the backside. Nice fitment. So yeah, that's kind of, I thought it was very neat to see the torque difference required for the different quality of taps. I don't know. I hope that was entertaining. I absolutely love this kind of metalworking and just having some fun around the shop, learning something new once in a while. Hope you guys learned something new. I am going to keep running taps in a plate of aluminum for my own entertainment because it's a snow day. All right, guys, thanks for watching.